Hi folks, and welcome to Open Analysis Live, or rather a Twitch clip from our Twitch stream. Go check us out if you like this kind of stuff. And also a reminder that we have over 200 hours of live stream recordings on our Patreon, as well as in-depth reverse engineering tutorials. If you like this kind of stuff, go check it out. Now let's get back to the clip. All right, so let's open this thing up in IDA and take a look. We can already see it's going to be some RC4 in here, likely some RC4, some XOR, stack strings. They're going to be loading a binary, probably. Parsing a PE header, maybe that's part of their dynamic API resolution, or maybe that's part of a PE loader. Not sure yet. So let's load this sucker up. Here's our binary. Here, I'll just F5 this and set up in a split view for you guys. So we can already see, some stack string looking stuff here. We see a lot of junk, honestly. A lot of junk looking stuff. More stack strings here. It looks like there is some sort of obfuscation in here. I assume it's custom. As you guys can tell, I did a bit of work on this before stream, and I found some other samples. Their loader uses the obfuscation, and there's some other samples out there that use it as well. Basically, I'll show you guys. Maybe it's easier to see in the decompiled view here. So kind of what they do is they have these useless sort of loops that don't do very much, or they don't do anything at all, actually, like this right here. They have these, I don't know, it's just kind of junk code that's injected in there, and it makes it kind of hard to follow the control flow. Actually, I guess it is a little bit easier to see in the decompiled code here. You can see the stack strings here, and if we follow down the stack strings to see where they're being used, we can see, well, here is a nice loop for 256. We see another one here, right? What is this? Everyone yell it out in the chat. Everyone should know what this is. Right? What is it when you create a 256 size buffer where the buffer is initially filled with the value in the buffer? Yeah, Draconia's got it. Zmu's got it. RC4. Yeah. So it's all RC4. So it looks like what they've done is they have RC4 decryption. You can see this is where they're building the key stream for RC4. Usually you can spot this. I mean, by now we've seen enough of it. It should be really dead simple to spot. You can see, like, whenever they set up the initial buffer here, you always have this scenario where you move the position value of the byte into the array at that position. So like it's an array of like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 all the way up to 256. So that kind of stands out. But the other thing is, whenever you see this like % by some value where it's being added, so there's like a counter or like a pointer, and it's being modded by some value, usually this is like a key, and basically this is the length of the key. It's just kind of a pattern that I don't expect everyone to pick it out, but it's just kind of a pattern that kind of stands out for RC4 and for anything else where you have like a key that you're iterating over. So we can see here, this is where they're building the key, and then down here we have another loop where they're actually doing the XOR with the key stream and I believe this is the stack string. Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to see. Well, we'll clean this up in a minute, but yeah, I think that's the stack string and that's the key stream. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna actually highlight. I'll flip these back to hex values here. And I'm going to highlight this so that we can see it in the code. And you can see here that it's all over the code. Now, this is our first hint that something is terribly wrong with this binary, right? Because what is this telling you? Well, it's telling you that the RC4 decryption is not a function that's decrypting the strings. It's fucking inline. So every time they have a string, they have an inline RC4 decryption, which makes reading this code a goddamn nightmare. So there's so every time they want to use a string, they have this fucking inline RC4, and they have this junk code that's interspaced with it. So it makes reading this extremely hard. I don't know, like when I first opened the binary, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this statically. Usually when you see stuff like this, you want to start looking towards emulation and dynamic analysis, because to make this look good in IDA is a real challenge. I'm not even sure if it'll be possible to do. I'll put a little bit of effort into it, but really we might have to kind of take an approach where we try to ignore code that's not relevant rather than trying to remove it from IDA, just because the effort to remove it might be significant. You want to do inline string encryption in C#? Yeah. I mean, inline makes it a lot harder. Again, this is one of those things where I don't know if they watched our stream, but I think they probably read some of those blogs about their previous versions, and they were like, inline string encryption is the way to go. I don't think anything is post-compile obfuscation. No, this is all macros. Like whenever you see inline string stuff like this is all like a macro. I did a couple streams ago on ADV obfuscator, and like you can do this with the same technique that ADV obfuscator uses. Like literally you could make an RC4 ADV obfuscator if you wanted. It's not too hard to do. What did you mean when you said the decryption loop will be embedded by a macro? Is that worth explaining? I mean, I don't want to take too much time here, but yeah, it's probably worth explaining. Do I have... let's see here. Yeah, I do. Yeah, let me show you. Yeah, so when you're writing software, when you're developing software, it would be way too hard to do something like this in the software every time you had a string, right? You could do that, but it would be insane. So instead, the way that it's done is, if we look at this as an open source obfuscator, the way that it's done is every time you have a string, instead of just writing the string in the binary, you wrap it in a macro, right? And so your code looks nice and clean, right? It's easy to read, right? You just have a tiny little macro wrapper every time you use a string. However, when you compile it, that macro actually, it's easier just to show you a compiled version of this. That's probably the best way to do this. Yeah, there we go. I even have an IDB for it. Yeah. So this is this. I saw this in the leaked Conti source code. Yeah, I have the leaked Conti source code here. I was actually building it on this box. Yeah, they use ADV obfuscator. But yeah, basically this little macro here at compile time gets turned into all of this. So this whole stack string here, this decryption loop, all of that is just the single macro. So this is just a simple example to explain how this kind of stuff works. But it's really good to have that as a reference in your mind when you're looking at malware. It's like, how did they actually develop the source? Because that can tell you important things like anything, like I said, anything inside the string decryption loop. So all this stuff here is not relevant, because if it was relevant to the operation of the binary, if it wasn't just junk code, then it would be very difficult to use a macro to protect your strings. You would need to do something, I don't know, it would be very complex to do that. So my bet is that they just have a macro that inserts some junk code along with the decryption operation. Okay, was that a good explanation? I just want to, because this is complex enough, it's good to make sure everyone's on the same page. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just a reminder that we are live on Sundays on Twitch. And if you like this kind of stuff, go check out our Patreon. We have lots more reverse engineering content, over 200 hours of live streams, as well as in-depth reverse engineering tutorials. All right, until next time, keep exposing the mechanics behind the malware. Stay curious.